नमस्कार दोस्तों, मैं आज आप लोगों के बीच लेकर आया हूँ चैप्टर 3 ऑफ CMR 2017 एग्जामिनेशन एंड सर्टिफिकेट्स ऑफ competency and fitness. Board of Mining Examination. Point 1. For the purpose of this regulation, there shall be constituted a board of mining examination, hereafter referred to as the board. The board shall consist of chief inspector, who shall be chairman, ex officio, and 5 members possessing degree in mining engineering and with a first class manager certificate granted under the regulation 11. Practical experience of not less than 2 years in management, control, supervision and direction of a coal mine or part thereof, or C. Service of an institution imparting education in mining engineering at the degree or equivalent level. Engagement in mining research planning, to be appointed by the central government, provided that the board shall be constituted that it shall include at least 3 members possessing qualification laid down in clause A and B, and at least 1 member possessing qualification laid down either in clause C or in clause D. Every member of the board other than its chairman shall hold the office for a period of 3 years from the date of appointment or until his successor is appointed, whichever is later, provided that a member may at any time resign his office by notice in writing addressed to the chairman. Point number 2. A member appointed under clause C of subsection 2 shall cease to hold office upon his ceasing to serve in any such institution as it referred to in that clause. A person appointed to fill vacancy caused by reason of death, resignation, or by reason of cessation of office under sub-clause 2 and otherwise shall hold office for the remaining period for which such member would have but for such reason continued as member. A person who hold or who has held office as manager of the board shall, subject to other provision of this regulation, be eligible for reappointment to that office. A member of board other than chairman shall receive such remuneration as the central government may fix. As inspector nominated in the behalf of by the chief inspector shall act as the secretary to the board, thereafter referred to it in this regulation as a secretary. Notwithstanding anything containing in this regulation, the central government may be, if satisfied that it is necessary to do in the public interest, reconstitute the board even though the term of office of all or any other member thereof has not come to an end. Meeting of the board shall be held as and when chairman consider them necessary, and unless otherwise decided by the chairman, all meeting of the board shall be held at Dhanbad. Point number 9 का A. For every meeting of the board not less than 10 clear day prior notice initiating the time and place of the proposed meeting, signed by the chairman or secretary, shall be given to each member who is not absent from India. Such notice shall be delivered at or posted to the usual place of residence of the member, and each such notice shall be accompanied by a list of items of business to be disposed of at that meeting, notwithstanding anything contained in clause A and B. In cases of urgency, an emergency meeting may be called for the chairman at any time by intimating the member only 2 days in advance of the time and date such meeting and subject matter for discussion at such meeting. The cinema shall preside at every meeting of the board. The chairman is absent for any reason, member present shall elect one from among themselves to preside over the meeting, and the members so elected shall, for the purpose of that meeting, have all the power of chairman. No business shall be transacted at the meeting of the board unless at least 3 members, including chairman, are present. Providing that if any meeting there is no quorum as aforesaid, the meeting shall automatically stand adjourned to the date which is even day later, or if the day is public holiday or next working day. And the time and place agenda for the adjourning meeting shall remain unchanged, and it shall thereupon be lawful to dispose of the business at such meeting, irrespective of number of meeting attending. 12.a. All matter which the board required to consider shall be considered at its meeting if the chairman so decide by the chair by the calculation of the papers to every member who is not absent from the India. 12 का B point. When any matter is referred to by circulation of paper under clause A, any member may request that it should be considered at a meeting of the board, and the chairman may direct that it shall be so considered. But when two or more members so requested, the chairman shall direct that the matter shall be considered at the meeting to be held. The secretary shall place before the board a list of business to be transacted at the meeting. No business which is not included in such a list shall be considered unless the chairman permits. 14 का every matter at the meeting shall be decided by the majority of votes of the member present at the such meeting. Every matter referred to the member by the circulation under sub-regulation 12 shall be decided by the majority opinion of the member to whom the paper were circulated, unless the chairman reversed it for consideration at regular meeting to be held later. In case of equal division of vote or opinion of member, the chairman shall have casting vote or opinion. 15 का A. The secretary shall record the minutes of each meeting on a board packed book kept for the purpose, and copies of such minutes or meetings shall be circulated to all members present in the India. The minutes so recorded shall be confirmed at the next meeting of the board and signed by the chairman in the token. Therefore, 16 का A. The chairman, in addition to any other power duties conferred upon him under these regulations, shall present all important paper and matter to the board as early as possible. Issue order for carrying out decision of the board. Point number 3. Have a power to refer in his discretion any matter to the central government for their orders. Have power generally to take such action or pass such order necessary to implement the decision of the board. The chairman may, during his temporary absence by reason of leave or otherwise, authorize any member of the board to perform all or any of duty of chairman during such absence. Unless the chairman otherwise directs, all proceeding of the board shall be conducted in the camera and be regarded as confidential. Regulation 11. Certificate granted by the board. The certificate specified in subregulation 2 shall be granted by the board. Certificate granted by the board shall be valid throughout the territory to which these regulations extend, and shall be following kind, namely, manager first class certificate of the competency to manage a coal mines, herein after referred to as first manager class certificate. B. Manager second class certificate competency to manage a coal mine, herein after referred to as second class manager certificate. Surveyor certificate competency to survey the working of a mine, hereafter referred to as a surveyor certificate. Overman certificate of competency to carry out inspection and duties as required under this regulation. Here are referred to as Overman certificate. E. Sardar certificate of competency to carry out inspection and duties as required under this regulation, hereafter referred to as Sardar, a certificate. Winding engine man certificate, herein referred to as engine driver certificate to drive a winding engine of any type of class. Certificate of competency to test the presence of inflammable gas, herein referred to as a gas testing certificate, provided that any of the certificate aforesaid other than engine driver certificate and gas testing certificate may be restricted to mines having open cast working only, and this fact shall be endorsed to the certificate. Regulation 12. Examination and examiners. First point. Certificate shall be granted to candidate after such examination and in such form as a board may specify, provided that the board may, subject to the condition specified in bylaws, exempt any person for appearing at the examination or part thereof for the grant of a certificate referred to in Regulation 11. The examination shall be held at any times, at such time and such center may be fixed by board and shall be conducted by the examiners appointed by the board. Point number 3. Examiners referred to in sub-regulation 2 shall be subject to order of the board respect of all matter related to the conduct the examination and shall receive such remuneration as a board with the sanction of central government may fix. The board may make bylaw as to the procedure for the conduct of examination and to granting the certificate of competency and of fitness as required under this regulation shall so far as may be practicable provided that the standard of knowledge required for the grant of certificate or any particular class and standard of medical fitness shall be uniform throughout the territories to which the regulation extend, provided that the board may be take decision at any matter not specified under the bylaws which may be brought to it for disposal. Regulation 13. Submission of application. Point number 1. Application for an examination conducted by the board shall be made to the board not less than 60 days prior to the date fixed for the examination in the manner or a form specified for the purpose. Notice regarding the date and place of examination for the manager certificate, surveyor certificate or government certificate shall be published under the order of board in such periodicals or may any other means as a board may direct not less than 60 days prior to the date fixed by the board for receiving application. Age limit and general qualification of candidate. No person shall be admitted as a regulation 14. Age limit and general regulation of the candidate. No person shall be admitted as a candidate at any examination held by board unless he is 20 years of age. No person shall be admitted as a candidate at any examination of major certificate, surveyor certificate, government certificate or Sardar certificate unless he hold a valid first aid certificate and the of the Sant Joseph Ambulance Services India or any other equivalent standard or may be specified by Chief Inspector. Every application for any examination as aforesaid shall be accompanied by a certificate of age verified the gazetted officer of the government or by the headmaster of a recognized school of higher secondary or equivalent standard, provided that in the case of person holding a matriculation or equivalent certificate, such certificate shall be submitted as equivalent as evidence of age. Point number 2. A medical certificate obtained not more than 1 year prior to the date of his application from a certifying surgeon or from a medical practitioner holding at least a degree in a Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery and registered with Medical Council of India, certifying the candidate to be free from deafness, defective vision or any other infirmity, mental or physical, likely to be interfere with the efficiency of his work, and third, a certificate from some person of good repute as to general good and conduct and sovereignty of the candidate. Point number 4. No person shall be admitted as a candidate to any examination for major certificate, surveyor certificate, government certificate or Sardar certificate unless he has passed the senior secondary school examination or intermediate examination or its equivalent from the recognized board or university or passed a diploma, degree in engineering or other equivalent qualification approved in that behalf by the central government, and for the engine driver certificate unless he satisfies the board that he is literate. 5. No person shall be admitted as a candidate for any examination for major or an government certificate which is not restricted to mines having open cast working only, unless he has obtained at least a Sardar certificate which is not restricted to mines having open cast working only and a gas certificate. No person shall be admitted as a candidate at an examination for manager certificate or government certificate restricted to mines having open cast working only, unless he has obtained at least Sardar certificate, provided that the board may, subject to condition specified in bylaw, exempt any person from stipulation of above sub-regulation. Regulation 15. Practical experience of candidates for manager certificate examination. Point number 1. No person shall be admitted as a candidate at any examination for the first or second class manager certificate other than an exchange certificate to which the provision of Regulation 21 apply, unless the board is satisfied that he has had practical experience in coal mines as prescribed under Subsection 2 for a period not less than 6 and 5 years respectively, provided that a candidate who has received a diploma in mining or mining engineering or other equivalent qualification approved in that behalf by the central government, such a period of experience shall be reduced to a 5 and 4 years respectively. Who has passed a degree in mining engineering or other equivalent qualification approved in that behalf by the central government, such period shall be reduced to 2 years for the first class manager certificate, provided that the experience referred to in this subsection shall be experience obtaining after acquiring the relevant academic qualification. The board may specify, subject to the condition laid down in the bylaw, the nature and other detail of the practical experience required for manager certificate. Regulation 16. Practical exam experience of candidates for surveyor certificate examination. No person shall be admitted to as a candidate for any examination for surveyor certificate unless he has satisfied the board that he has not less than 2 years practical experience of surveying of a type of board may specify, subject to the condition and laid down in bylaw, provided that such period shall be reduced to 6 months in case of candidate who has attended class in their theoretically and practical surveying at any educational institution approved by the board, subject to the condition laid down in bylaw. Practical experience of candidate for Sardar certificate examination. Point number 1. No person shall be admitted as a candidate at any examination for Sardar certification unless the board is satisfied that he has had practical experience and training in coal mine for a period of not less than 3 years, provided that such period shall be reduced to a period of 1 year in a case of candidate who has received a diploma or certificate in scientific and mining training after a course of at least 2 years at an educational institute, or who has taken a degree in scientific and mining subject at a university approved in that behalf by board, subject to the condition laid down in the bylaw. The board may specify, subject to the condition laid down in bylaw, the nature and other detail at the practical experience required for the Sardar certificate. Practical experience of candidate for engine drive certificate. No person shall be admitted as a candidate at any examination of engine driver certificate unless the board is satisfied that he had a practical experience of driving a winding engine or as an assistant to qualify winding engine driver for a period of at least 1 year. Number of attempts at examination. No person shall be admitted for examination for a particular certificate beyond 7 attempts from date of coming into force of this regulation. Fees for grant of certificate. Fee to be paid in respect of every application for the grant of certificate shall be prescribed by the board, subject to the condition laid down in bylaw. The fee once paid shall not be refundable where the candidate had died before the examination for grant of certificate or where the fee has been erroneously paid. Exchange Regulation 11 to 21. Exchange certificate. The board may grant to any person holding manager certificate, surveyor certificate, engine driver certificate, foreman certificate or mate certificate granted under any law for the regulation of mines in force in any other country or under metalliferous mines regulation 16 or its amended version made under the act, a corresponding certificate of a similar class under this regulation, if he possesses such qualification and experience and passes such examination as the board may stipulate, subject to the condition specified in the bylaw, provided that the board may, subject to the condition laid down in the bylaw, exempt any person for appearing at examination or part thereof for grant of exchange certificate. Every application for the grant of exchange certificate under the subsection 1 shall be accompanied by a medical certificate obtained not more than 1 year prior to the date of his application from the qualified medical practitioner not below the rank of a civil assistant surgeon or from a certifying surgeon from a medical practitioner holding at least a degree in Bachelor of Medicine or Bachelor of Surgery, registered with Medical Council of India, certifying the candidate to be free from deafness, defective vision or any other infirmity, mental or physical, likely to be interfere with the efficiency of his work, and a certificate from the some person or good repute to the general good conduct and sobriety of the candidate, provided that in case of manager certificate, the candidate shall possess practical training in India in mines for a period of not less than 6 months in such manner as they be specified by the board to condition laid down in bylaws. Fees on the scale laid down in Regulation 20 shall be paid in respect of every exemption under this regulation. Regulation 12. Duplicate certificate. If any person prove to be satisfaction of the board that he has without any fault on his part lost and has been deprived of a certificate granted to him under this regulation, the board may, upon realization of the fees prescribed under the subregulation 1, the regulation 20, subject to the candidate condition laid down in bylaw, cause a copy of certificate to be delivered to him, and the word duplicate shall be stamped across every such copy. Certificate to be delivered to the manager. At Regulation 23, certificate to be delivered to the manager. When the holder of an overman certificate, Sardar certificate, engine driver certificate, and gas testing certificate is employed in a mine in a capacity which required the possession of the state certificate, he shall deliver such certificate to the manager of the mine in such he is for the time being employed. The manager shall deliver to such person a receipt for the same, shall retain the certificate in the office at the mine so long as the holder thereof is so employed, and shall return it to the holder on his ceasing to be employed. Regulation 24. Suspension or cancellation of manager certificate, surveyor certificate, overman certificate, Sardar certificate, engine driver certificate, or gas testing certificate. If on the basis of report of inspector, regional inspector, and opinion that the holder of manager certificate, surveyor certificate, overman certificate, Sardar certificate, engine driver certificate, or gas testing certificate is incompetent or in guilty of negligence or misconduct in the performance of his duty under the Act or under this regulation, he shall bring the matter to notice of the board. The board, on the report of regional inspector under the sub-regulation 1, authorize the inspector not below the rank of inspector whose report form the basis of state opinion to hold an inquiry in accordance and with the procedure laid down in the bylaws to determine where or not such a person hereinafter referred to as a delinquent is fit to continue to hold the certificate, provided that the board shall therefore, before the inquiry, furnish the delinquent a statement of the case on which inquiry is instituted. 3 number. The inspector who conducted the inquiry shall within 15 days from the date of conclusion of his inquiry and send a report to the board together with his finding, the notes of evidence recorded during the inquiry and other relevant record. Copies of the notes, evidence, and finding of the inspector who conducted the inquiry shall also be sent to the delinquent, who may submit his written representation to the board within 30 days from the date of dispatch of such copies. Point 5. The board may after considering the evidence and such record and written representation, if any, submitted by the delinquent, either case of further inquiry to be made in case and thereupon or otherwise, either if so negate the delinquent of the charge against him or suspend or cancel the certificate as it deems fit. An appeal shall lie against any order of the board under this resolution before central government within 30 days of such order. Where a certificate is suspended or cancelled under this resolution, suitable endorsements may be made on such certificate duplicate therefore issue under Resolution 1222. Resolution 25. Validity of certificate for manager and official. No person shall be act as a manager or an official or winding remain or mines after attaining the age of 60 years unless he obtain within prescribed 1 year medical certificate of fitness qualifying him fit to carry out duty prescribed for him in Act and in this resolution and other made thereunder, provided that if the chief inspector or the regional inspector is of the opinion that a person as aforesaid thou less than 60 years and is medically unfit to carry on his duty assigned to him in the Act in these regulation and other made there under. The chief inspector and the regional inspector may be, by the order in written, require such a person to obtain a medical certificate of fitness within such period not exceeding 3 months, as he may specify therein, and no such person shall continue to act in any capacity any aforesaid after the period so specified unless he has obtained a medical certificate of fitness. Point number 2. Medical certificate of fitness as aforesaid shall be obtained from such authority in such a form and manner as the board may specify, subject to the condition laid down in bylaws. Notwithstanding anything contained in the subsection 1, no person shall act as manager or an official or a winding engineman in a mines after attaining the age of 70 years. Thank you for watching my video, and next chapter will be continued.